Hello and welcome to another Deep Space Nine commentary. This time it's Season 2, Episode 2, The Circle, and it's the second part of a three-parter. And I am joined by Fatheree. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for allowing me to come express my deep love for Deep Space Nine.
Well, let's get right into it then.
That's
I have,
the name of this episode, The Circle, right? It's the second one in the Circle trilogy.
yes, uh, in France it's called Le Cercle. Alright.
Oh, they sure say a lot of dumb shit in that country, don't they?
We. Now we're going to start at the very beginning, which means the recap of the last episode. And are you ready, Fatheree?
I'm ready.
All right. In three, two, one, go. Major Barrett.
Man, it seems like forever when we watched the first episode. It was only a week ago.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do a more efficient recap than this thing, though. It's like basically there's like Bajoran supremacists that want the Federation gone. There's a Bajoran war hero captured that Kira and O'Brien go and rescue. He becomes a big national hero. They make him Lee Nullis,
The symbol of
the
Bajor.
kind of like a big figurehead, but he's also going to take Kira's post on Deep Space Nine.
Dun dun dun.
So as of the end of last week's episode, Kira has been transferred off of the station. So are you at like a shot of DS9 right now?
Yep. Frankly,
Okay.
Commander, I'm surprised at your reaction. Oh, I don't think much surprises you, Minister. His voice is so. It's like butter, I keep saying. All the captains, I think there's only three captains that have great voices in Star Trek: uh, Picard, Cisco, and Janeway. I think Kirk's voice is a little too, it's kind of annoying sometimes. Unless Nicholas Myers directs him, and he gets bored, and then he's good. And
Yeah, Avery
I
Brooks
don't like
definitely
Scott
has a.
Bakula's voice. I meant to say, yeah. Anyway, go ahead. It's too nasally. It's like I don't know. We've got a it's like one of those things. It's not. It's not commanding to me. It's weird.
Avery
He's better.
Brooks definitely has a lot of gravitas though, and it's a very different flavor than what Patrick Stewart was serving at the same time.
Yep. And Cisco had an ability to like soothe, to like and calm and kind of like help people come to reason. Picard had that too, but he was a little more like direct and used his words. Cisco uses his tone, and
Mm.
he certainly changes that tone when he gets pissed off, and like then don't mess with him. His demeanor right now is like, I don't trust you, but I'm being cool. I really like Frank Langella. Playing with the baseball.
Yeah, he was a pretty big get for a guest star.
He's in a show called Kidding. It's a Jim Carrey show. He plays his father. It's
Mm.
anything he's in is amazing. He's really funny in Trial of the Chicago 7. But you don't like Aaron Sorkin, so
They get kind of like hate crimed. It's like We don't want your kind around here. Go back where you came from.
You Federation peoples. I almost hit skip intro just then, just instinctively. I was just like,
Hmm.
almost. Oh wait, no, don't do that.
Do you have a preference on the opening credit sequence of Deep Space Nine? Do you like this early version or do you like the upgrade they do in season 4?
The upgrade is fine, but this kind of like slower version. I guess it's slower. I don't know.
Yeah,
Seems
it's
more melodic.
I kind of like the faster tempo and the we get in the season 4 version. And it's just cool that it shows off the Defiant a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it has Worf's name in there. And it says Captain Cisco instead of Commander Cisco.
Yeah, they had to give him a ship and make him a captain, so they could call him one of the captains. It
I do.
confused me when I was young. I'm like, so he's not like who? Where? Like I was waiting for some captain to show up.
Yeah.
I'm like, so
Well,
Benjamin Sisko's like obviously the main character, but he's not a captain. And then when I really got into the show and watched it religiously when the Defiant came into it and Worf came into it, and I was like, I'm on board now.
oh yeah,
And it
yeah. That
worked. It
was
really
that was
worked.
the golden years. Yeah, I loved that when it was all new. But I think at the beginning they were scared to have a captain be in command of a station because they thought that would like confuse audiences who are like, no, like captains command ships, so
Yeah.
let's make him a commander. But then what pissed off the DS9 writers is I think it was TV Guide, but some article came out that was calling Kate Mulgrew the third Star Trek captain, and they were like, no, Avery Brooks is like the third like big lead, major lead.
That was before he was
Yeah,
captain in the show.
yeah, it was like during season 3.
Uh,
This scene is great, by the way. I love the just kind of quirky comedy of this. It's not something we typically see in DS9.
can feel the love in the air already.
And these two were just firecrackers back in the day, huh?
Yep.
They could unleash that energy.
He's losing his mind that she's going. Like he hates this. It's like the worst thing that could happen to him. Cause do you think he was like in love with her from the beginning, or because they met before the show starts, right? Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah, we
knew each other
actually
before.
in a few episodes we see a flashback to their original meeting.
Yes, it's about Odo. It's Odo investigating some old murder or something, and he
Yeah.
remembers back when he first met Kira.
Yeah, it's very
And
film noir
yeah, and
ish.
the station is actually lit darkly, and
Right. For how the Cardassians kept it.
yeah, I would imagine it to be humid and dark. I don't know if they're cold blooded or not, but they look cold blooded, look reptilian.
Yeah, Cardassians like it warm but also dark, I guess. What do you think of like the wackiness of this, where they just keep piling in one after another, and it's
It's like a funny stage play.
yeah, that's what I always think when I watch this. Yeah, it seems like something you would do as a play.
I think sometimes when you get these things where you got a bunch of actors in it, even in a shot, and they get to kind of play it like a stage play because a lot of the film acting is saying a thing, stopping, waiting, saying a thing again, stopping, waiting. Someone off camera is reacting. Maybe it's the actor, or it could be just somebody feeding you lines. But this is more like this is the stuff they love to play with here. Like this is their game. Like from an actor's point of view, like these are all like improv fucking like fun people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, Armin Shimmerman right here, he's well known as being a big Shakespeare actor, and I think director. I think he directs a lot of. Yeah,
A
yeah, he
lot,
does. He's directed a lot of Shakespearean productions.
a lot of people who study Shakespeare and do a lot of the plays tend to be pretty decent actors, but also uh, ad libbers and improvisational kind of skills, which they don't do in Star Trek. It's pretty much like line by line. And as these actors do it, I'm pretty sure everything said is like exactly what's in the script, but they do it so
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah, it was what do they call it? DLP, deadline perfect or
Yeah,
something like that. But yeah,
uh,
they had to get like
something like that. Yeah.
after every take, they'd have like the script supervisor be like, um yeah, you got everything right, or she'd be like, "Oh, you got like this one word wrong.
Yeah.
You said proton when you were supposed to say anti-proton. We got to shoot the entire thing over again." I don't think they have that same.
I mean, he's like he has like no personality. He sounds like a drone.
Predictorial. Yeah, he
He's
is a
very
bit dull, isn't
stoic.
he?
Yeah.
Not the most interesting love interest, but there's a couple of episodes. There's two episodes when I really like him. Or is it
There
three?
are elements of his story that are actually pretty hard to take and pretty devastating. But yeah, I won't get into that. But like how he leaves the show is like holy
Oh wait,
shit, that's
yeah,
harsh.
yeah. That's the third one. Yeah, there's three times I actually really like him, but I totally get the concerns. Then we get Kira's next love interest, Shakar, later on in season four, I believe.
Shakar. Why can't I remember that? I gotta look that up.
Yeah, he becomes the first minister.
Oh yes, okay.
We talked before how we really liked Lee Nollis. Like he's like a genuinely like really good dude who never wanted to be like big and famous and put in the situation, but totally unable, you know, to live up to the pressure or the expectations.
That's a good line. You report directly to the prophets from time to time. You know, like check in with me or whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what he's doing. Like that's the thing. It's like, hey, you're given this position. You're somebody. We don't know. You're just this whatever. Your hope and whatever. Like it's not even clear to him. It's like nobody's actually told him. Okay, these are your duties. This is what you must do every day. Like he just gets there. He's like, no, I'm a Navek, whatever. I don't even know what that is and what I'm supposed to do. And nobody else does either. It's like he guess he's gonna do what Kira did, but he's not suited for it. You know what I mean? It's like he does. He's it's escaping me what exactly the Frank Langella's character is using him for. I can't remember. Like what's the angle there?
Well, I think their plots are kind of unrelated. He he just happened to got picked up from. Or no, is that part of the conspiracy too? With the well, we find out about the coup attempt and who's behind it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Are we? Do you want to talk about things from like the next episode, or just keep it focused on these
let's
first two?
just might as well just keep it focused on this. Kira trying to arrange rocks on Bejor. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
I'm going
totally.
to put you to sleep with my voice, Kira.
Speaking of being out of your element, It's clear that she should be the one on the station next to Cisco. But
So I'm guessing this is a park in California somewhere.
yeah, pretty much everything in Star Trek was shot in California until Star Trek Beyond.
It's funny. In Discovery and Strange New Worlds, a lot of location shoots are going to be like snow or cold because it's always up in Canada, and and it's like cold for most of the friggin' year.
I think the first time they ever left California to shoot something was in Star Trek Generations. They went out to the Valley of Fire in Nevada.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is on repeat viewings of that movie. That is not a location that looks very good in any of those shots. It's just bland as hell. I mean, the rocks look okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a really breathtaking visual place to visit in real life. I think it's kind of awkward how it's not shot in a way to show that off in the movie.
Quite frankly, Generations is pretty god awful cinematography. It's probably one of it's your least favorite. It's probably I would agree that it's the most poorly shot of the films and most poorly lit. I can't stand some of the lighting situations in that movie. But anyway, I won't get into Generations.
Yeah, it definitely has its own style.
Yeah. This is where she. How many orbs are there? Or
I don't know if there's like an official number. They'd kind of just find a new one whenever they needed one that was a little different.
I can think of three, I think. And one of them is like are the Pirates or something. I don't know.
Oh,
You
they're
could
in the
actually
fire
you could
caves.
you could actually study DS9 and like what they do with the Simpsons and other shows, or like you could really examine like all the mythology and like piece together all the information to make a coherent like give yourself like an idea of like the actual history and like what these orbs are and like where they came from, which they do explain at some point, or there's some kind of hint. Be useless. It reminds me of the court in episode 1 of TNG.
Yeah. I'd want to be an extra in a scene like this. It's like, okay, just like ramble about something you're pissed off about.
Yeah. It's Nurse Ratchet and Skeletor.
It's a hell of a team up.
Yeah.
Well, we get another Dracula when Shakar shows up because is the dude who played Dracula in
Monster
is it
Squad?
Monster Squad?
I think
With the
so, yeah.
the kids that battle Dracula and Frankenstein and Wolfman.
Yeah. Ah, that's so creepy. He's like, "Can you feel it? Can you feel it, Doris?" She's like, "Yes."
A lot of people complain about like the Bajoran stuff and like the Bajoran religion stuff being kind of boring, and I'll agree. Like that's not the most exciting part of Deep Space Nine. But one thing that I do think is very interesting about that side of their culture is that as spiritual as the Bajorans are, they don't have any type of like weird sexual repression. They seem to like be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you can be like the Pope, but still like fuck people, and I kind of respect that. I think it's probably healthier than a lot of Earth religions.
So Kai Wynn ended up hooking up with Gul Dukat, right? They
Yeah,
did the
there's
nasty.
there's a 47. There's a 47 on that screen above that dude's head.
Oh my god, I can see it.
Oh, I guess this is the first time they establish Odo as kind of like that network of contacts that You know, for a dude who doesn't make friends, he does have a lot of professional contacts that he can reach out to.
He probably just calls like whatever place like out there, and just like how he is, they're just like, "Give me your supervisor," and like they're scared. Like he has a reputation. Like do what Odo says. Like he's not our friend, but we respect him.
Yeah, I mean
And he probably
they
shares information too.
they show him in later seasons where he mentions he has a contact within Starfleet security. We see him like he has like this old like Cardassian intelligence contact that he can go reach out to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the Kursari are plant trading people. They're not delivering flowers these days.
Crisari, it sounds like an Italian dessert. I would like a chocolate Crisari. Looks like you're my deputy, son. Here's your gun and badge.
It's kind of a Western trope. A sheriff just deputizing people.
His laugh is golden.
Man, this dynamic is such a
And I love that
valuable commodity for the show for Deep Space Nine. Like
it
they
is,
get
yeah.
so much great scenes out of these two, and there's a lot of stories that involve the two of them. One of them's actions and the other one's reactions to it, and you can get like a whole episode out of a lot of that type of stuff.
And I like how Odo knows he can push Quark, and it's okay. Like, because he can also have his back too. Like that's the thing. They love each other. You know, I don't. This is kind of dated. Like the concept of there's vandals going around on the ship, and you can't trace them, and you don't have image. It's not even about cameras. It's just about like imaging sensors that can recreate like anything that goes on in the hallways or anywhere, except for private quarters. What goes on in any ship?
But yeah, I think that's pretty interesting technology actually. The idea of like they're not using cameras, they're just like scanning things and then the computer can create the exact image of what it would look like.
Yeah, it's just imaging sensors in the sense that they know what
No,
exists, what light exists in the room at any given time, and it's not stored in the sense of a video. It's stored in the sense of like a completely 3D kind of immersive, like and I don't like Into Darkness, but it does a cool thing where
yeah, where they have like the
they're looking at
scan of
security.
London.
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
actually roam around through the footage.
Yeah, that's how I think I always pictured how their technology would work. It was cool that they were able to visualize it pretty well there. Although we do know in Discovery season 2, the USS Discovery had cameras in that first episode of season 2, Brother, when they have to go rescue Tig Notaro out of that
Like optical
asteroid field.
cameras, yeah.
But that's also earlier. That's in the 23rd century. So,
I would
I
always
mean, I guess
imagine
that's the
like
same as like the Kelvin version, but here, I think in the prime timeline here, they don't really rely on the sensors like that until later. They're probably still using cameras like in the time of the original series.
I always imagine like the cameras would be like a backup or whatever,
Yeah.
and that like if everything was like gone, you'd still be able to use radio. You'd still be able to use like analog video or sense. You know what I mean? Like the basic stuff if everything like went. Like touchscreens. What if the touchscreens were gone? There should be a panel underneath with switches that you should know how to operate. Like manual switches. Even a week if necessary. Go away. Nobody likes you, Kai Wynn. Oh, she's not Kai yet, right? No.
Yeah, Vedic Win.
She's Vedic Win.
That's the other cool thing about season 2 is it's an election year, and they have already shown how terrible she can be in season 1. In that season 1 finale.
Yeah.
So now we get like the election between her and Bareil. And I think a lot of people watching it, they would assume that Bareil would win the election, you know, like, oh, of course, like the good guy is going to beat the bad guy. But
yeah,
DS9 is a bit more subversive.
This is an interesting set to build for such a short period of time to be on screen. Like it's a considerable amount of effort for so little screen time. Sometimes when they build these temporary sets, it's not as elaborate.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. I like that view screen that shows like some Cardassian Bajoran landscape.
And if that was an updated kind of thing that was now, it would be moving. There would be all kinds of like, graphics, animated graphics on it. And like a real like satellite looking CGI landscape. But the effort's there at least, You can imagine it's something more than it is. Good faith.
That's kind of a cool scene. Establishes the rapport between these two characters. I would have liked to have seen more of this general.
There is no other scene after this with him, is it?
There is,
Maybe
but
there is.
there's no other episodes. There's no other stories with him.
Oh, but does he appear in more scenes in this episode, maybe?
Yeah. That's a cool alien. Grisari. It's not particularly memorable. Like there's nothing that really stands out, but it all looks good, you know?
Yeah. Very detailed.
I love Westmore when he did these more elaborate aliens because he never got too carried away. You can see like the actor's expression, like when he kind of like squinted his eyes when he got angry.
Yeah.
A lot of the really elaborate creature design in Star Trek these days, I think it really limits what the actors can do, and it's hard to like see those characters as full-fledged characters. They come off more as like set dressing.
I think we're going to move toward a digital makeup age where actors could just go on set, not have to go through hours of makeup, and it all just be placed on them afterwards.
I think the best thing right now in 2021 is when they can enhance the stuff with CGI.
Like Linus or
Yeah,
like the
perfect
Saurians,
example.
like the Disco Saurians.
Hmm. I first noticed that technique in the Hellboy sequel, The Golden Army.
Doug
Um,
Jones,
yeah, uh, absolutely.
he played he did play that role in the first movie, but David Hyde Pierce did the voice.
Hmm.
And it turns out that Doug Jones can sound almost exactly like David Hyde Pierce's version of that character. So it was like, why? It's like, there you
Oh
go.
wow. Yeah, they never let him use his own voice for so long. Like he was the Silver Surfer
Yeah,
in Fantastic
voiced
Four:
by
Rise of the
Lawrence
Silver
Fishburne,
Surfer.
by the way.
Yeah, which it's hard to deny that voice. I deny the quality of that movie. And I actually think they could have done cool stuff with the Silver Surfer. Maybe the Marvel Studios will do it at some point soon. I'm sure they will eventually.
There are elements of the Fantastic Four movies that are cool, but as just
Yeah.
movies as a whole, they don't work. The Silver Surfer stuff in that movie is the best part about the
Do you
Fantastic
remember that
Four.
trailer when it like
Yes.
showed like the Human Torch chasing down the Silver Surfer? And that was like,
It's like a 2 minute
like
scene.
yeah, like they almost show you that entire scene. I'm sure it was like trimmed down, but it was like really intense and really enticing. I remember being pretty pumped to go see that in 2007.
I saw it in theaters and I had no interest in the first one. I was like, yeah, screw this. I watched it on video and I was like, yeah, it's all right. And then the only reason I wanted to see the second one was because of that.
I'll say half of the Fantastic Four were actually fantastic. Is with Chris Evans was a good Johnny Storm, and Michael Chiklis
Yeah.
from The Shield. He was a good Ben Grimm. Um, they didn't quite nail it with Mr. Fantastic or Invisible Woman, but anyways, that's Marvel stuff. We should talk about Star Trek
Oh,
stuff.
no. She's getting kidnapped by the Eyes Wide Shut people.
Yeah, or they kind of remind me of was it Phantasm? The hooded
Uh,
monks.
Phantom of the Opera?
No, I think Phantasm is what I'm thinking of. Now, how can
Phantasm.
Odo turn into a rat? Like, what happens like the rest of his mass?
Yeah, it's the thing with changelings. They can change. They can change their mass.
No,
It's
this
a
is where
wonder.
we
It's a wonder he
go.
doesn't
Sorry, go
become a
ahead.
giant when he needs to.
You know, maybe he's like a mouse that still weighs like 180 pounds, but
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
think that's the case because when he turns into a bird, he can fly. So he's obviously light as a
Mm.
bird.
I guess that's what's special about changelings because I always assumed there were, uh, what would you call it? People who morph. Shapeshifters. There you go.
Yeah.
Is the easiest way to say it. Aside from Odo, different. We've seen it in Star Trek Six and stuff like that.
Mm.
But he's probably their species is probably special in that way where like it's almost like fucking magic where it's like they can change their mass and not only become any animal or humanoid or whatever, but like just convincingly disguise themselves as inanimate objects. Which, if you think about shapeshifters in general, in like science fiction, you would imagine a lot of them wouldn't know how to do most of those things. They would just simply know how to morph into somebody else of approximate size.
Like T1000.
Yeah.
So these scenes back to back, what Odo was investigating and then Kira captured here. This is what kind of explains the secret conspiracy. This what's his name? Joro, Minister Joro. He's
Joro, yeah.
basically arranged for
Jaro.
weapons to be given to the Circle, the terrorist group, to build up to
Okay.
drive away the Federation. They want Bajor for Bajorans only, and he doesn't know it, but the Cardassians are the ones giving the weapons to the Kasari because the Cardassians want this turmoil on Bajor to drive the Federation away, and then
Yeah.
they're going to just come reconquer it, and then they'll control the wormhole. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, it's exactly. It
It's kind of a
doesn't work out
political
though. I mean,
thriller. It's a
it
very
is, yeah.
political thriller-ish.
And like every friggin' madman like Jaro, it's like I see what you mean, but your plan is like, how do you, where do you think, how do you, like it makes no sense. Like there's progress now, things are going well now, and like this hate for the Federation is just like weird. Well, that's
Yeah, it was kind
all
of
of
like
these. Go ahead.
nationalistic, like anti-immigrant. Uh,
What character in Enterprise was like that? It was he was played by God, what's his name?
oh, Peter Weller's,
Peter Weller. Yeah,
yeah. Um, who then like showed up again in Star Trek Into Darkness.
yeah. He didn't. He in the Enterprise. He didn't want non-humans on Earth. Like he basically wanted to build a wall around the Earth.
Yeah, yeah, he
It's
definitely would
like
have been like a build the wall type guy.
it's like in all of these plans, you're like, dude, how did you think this was gonna play out in the end? Like, you knew it wouldn't last. But yeah, those Cardassians are so slippery. They're always up to no good. They're always smiling at you while with the knife behind their back. They're cold blooded. They're very reptilian and lizard like. I guess that's the whole point.
Yeah, I see that kind of reflected some in Star Trek Discovery with President Rillick. She's sneaky, sneaky, and I mean, like I think they've done like a really good job with her character. That like I can always understand, where she's coming from, but yeah, like she is very, very sneaky.
Yeah, well,
I love that shot. That shot is so beautiful. I don't think they ever do that again, but I really like it. That's the only turbo lift in Star Trek you could do that on, where it has like a just that open side right there where it's
yeah.
exposed.
It's probably really dangerous for the actors too.
Well, yeah, Cardassians didn't give a shit though when they built this. Also, later on in season 2, we learned that like they didn't care about making it very friendly for disabled people to get around the station.
Wouldn't it be crazy if they ever showed like that Cardassians can regenerate limbs?
Yeah, they don't
Like
really
Deadpool.
lean into like the reptile side of them very often. I think they're still technically mammals because they have hair,
Yeah.
but do
They're
they have
just
nipples?
scaly, that's all. That's really what it is. Just
Do
scaly.
Cardassians provide milk for their young? We never see a Cardassian with their shirt off, do we?
No, I don't think.
They should show that at some point, just so you can see like the how the ridges like go down their shoulders and stuff. I guess we see that in, like some of the women. They wear like
It's a fact that
dresses and
you almost
blouses that are
never
kind of
see
opened up.
shirtless aliens in Star Trek. Almost
Yeah,
never. Unless they're very humanoid or. You've seen Kelpians. Uh,
yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. I was like, yeah, like when we see like Doug Jones without a shirt on, or like we see Klingons shirtless. Remember when like Worf was gonna stab his brother Kern, coming up in a couple seasons on DS9, and we see Kern with no shirt on.
yeah, I know Klingons have like a protruded spine or something like that too.
I guess we also see Laurel with no shirt on.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of weird detail there.
Yeah. Yeah, Mary Chiefo said that was just like all just like prosthetic over her.
It like technically wasn't even nudity.
Yeah. Okay. Spell it out for the audience at home. See, he's a good dude. Like here, like look at how like the whole time he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. This isn't for me. But now he's like, oh no, like Captain, we can't let this happen. Or Commander, we can't let this happen. We got to stop
Yeah.
it. We got to do something.
Oh no. They're becoming xenophobic.
Admiral
Wait,
Chakotay. It's spelled different though.
wow. Admiral Chakotay. Do you think they're related? Well, it's
No.
first name, so never mind.
I think they just really liked that name.
Yeah.
It's probably like a Michael Piller thing. Michael Piller was like, I like the name Chakotay. It's an Earth name, but it sounds as exotic as some of the alien names we come up with. You know, it's kind of weird and I mean, it's not weird. I understand the real life social reasons why it has happened, but you know, there's a lot of I guess like Anglo-centric depictions of Earth, and so like almost all the characters have like North American accents or maybe a British accent. It's like, hey, you know, there's a shitload of people from Earth that like aren't from like the United States. You'd think there'd be like a bunch of a lot more Latino people, a lot of African people, a lot of Asian
Well,
people.
the newer Trek tends to be more world diverse. They don't necessarily do a lot of different accents. It's usually
Yeah,
North American people of different races,
and a bunch of Canadian actors playing them.
but it would be more interesting, especially if in Strange New Worlds, which is not out by the time where this is being recorded, if they did have like more accents from around the world.
Yeah, you know, Sulu and Chekhov. That's what I kind of liked about Michelle Yeoh as Philippa Georgiou, having a Chinese language accent, I guess Mandarin accent, or you know whatever she speaks. I guess Mandarin. That's what's most common. But that kind of felt, yeah, like that international flavor.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy was half human and had a weird accent that didn't come from the Betazoid side.
It changed over time. The more she's played Deanna, the more she's sounded like herself.
Yeah, but I felt like
She sounds just like Marina Sirtis now when she plays Deanna.
oh no, and like in Picard, I thought she went back to the accent, but
Oh, did she?
yeah, but in the movies, like she sounded good in Generations. Then like First Contact, when she does like the drunk scene, is like oh yeah, like she really loses the Troy accent in that one.
Yeah.
And then in like Insurrection and Nemesis, it's like undetectable.
Yeah, like her real voice is like very kind of like, yeah, you know, like kind
Yeah,
of like that. I guess that's
she has a
piss poor
Cockney
impression,
accent. She's
yeah.
from a part of London called Hackney, I believe. It's the same. It's the same place where David Ajala, who plays Book, is from, and you notice he has a very thick Cockney accent as well.
Hello, my name's David Ajola. No, well,
Yeah.
that's not
Well,
like Marina Sirtis is like, what's the name of that place again?
Hackney, I believe.
She's like, I'm from Hackney. Like she has a very like it sounds low. It sounds like it sounds like she would get along with people where I live. Like the way she talks. Like she'd love the Newfoundland accent. I think. I bet you she'd drink you under the table too.
This is Admiral Chakotay. Looks nothing like Voyager's Chakotay.
No. Well.
I guess they couldn't get the lady who plays Nechayev. She wasn't available when they shot this. You know, she shows up a lot in TNG and DS9 until they get Admiral Ross over in DS9.
Nechayev, which one? Who's that?
She is the blonde lady.
Oh
who's
yeah,
kind of
bitches about the Borg stuff.
yeah. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, why didn't you just mass genocide the Borg, you stupid asshole?
Yeah, you and your British sensibilities, or well, he's not even British. He's
Well, French, but
Well, they're actually going to leave the station. Well, not all of them.
Yeah, they're gonna slowly evacuate some of the civilians. He's really dragging his feet with this evacuation. He's basically like, "Okay, O'Brien, go as slow as you can, so that we can fight these jerks when they try to claim the station."
I think in the next episode, they come aboard and they're like, huh, they evacuated so easily. Or all like
Yeah.
smug and shit.
The next episode is the Star Trek attempt at Home Alone in some regards.
Yes, it is.
That was fun. That went by fast.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching the third one though. I think they really start season 2 off showing some of the strong elements of early DS9, and things you could do on this show that you couldn't do on Next Generation.
This is like world building too in those 3 episodes. And yeah, that Home Alone situation in the next episode. There's an adventure with Kira and Dax as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's fun. There's a few little things there that I like to see.
All right. Well, hopefully you can be back next week to finish off this trilogy of DS9 epicness.
Yeah, I'd love to be here. So hopefully we can do that Saturday night.
Thank you, CBS, Viacom, Paramount Pictures. All right.
Okay,
Until
we got
next time,
we
folks.
got 25 seconds to go if you want to end it on 47.
Oh yeah. Check out Text Trek, who they
Yes.
do reviews for all of the latest Star Trek episodes in great detail.
Yeah, please check us out. We're covering Disco Season 4 right now. You can find us on YouTube live Friday nights at 7 p.m. and our show's available as an audio-only podcast either late Sunday night or early Monday morning every week. Bye.
Awesome. Until next time, peace and long life.